Greetings all, my name is JD from Studio 2105. Welcome back to my channel and a brand new episode of Weekly Update Wednesdays. Folks, as you may have noticed, right, the frequency of these, weekly update Wednesdays isn't exactly weekly. It's more of like, it's been more fortnightly. That means every 2 weeks. And simply because, right, the amount of work that I have on my plate, basically, I do apologize. First of all, I wish I could be able to put out as much content as I did in the past. But reality is that with the industry opening up, a lot of jobs, a lot of projects, right, really need my time, and my attention, and my priority, of course, has to go to the clients. But I will definitely not forget, right, all of you out there who really support the channel, all you subscribers, all the new viewers, and especially, right, to all the patrons who help to support the channel, right, financially. I will definitely keep on putting out this content. There's still the bi-weekly, the mixed chat episodes of the podcast episodes of all my conversations with all the interesting people, right? People behind the scenes, friends, family, some of my mentors, some of my colleagues. I've been very thankful as well to all the guest contributors as well. I've had Ahmad Shafiq, right, put out on his video on how to prepare a tech writer. Darren Tay recently, right, did another song breakdown of one of An Honest Mistake's latest videos as well. So please do check it out, right? Check out all these other guest contributors as well. And they do awesome work too. Right, so without further ado, right, a few other things, right, the usual stuff, right? Please do subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, sign up for an email list, and if you want to become a patron, I really appreciate the support. Head on down to the website below. When tracking vocals with hardware or channel strips, do you use the meters or your ears to set levels? One engineer says she sets her levels at -10 on the VU meter. Another one sets to 0 dB. Yet another engineer says he doesn't use meters, but just his ears and whatever sounds good. What is your method and why? Great question. Now this is gonna go a little bit on the technical side, so bear with me. Now, the first thing to be clear is that VU meters on most analog gear are not the same as the digital meters, right, on your audio interface or your DAW. Now, traditional VU meters are for measuring average RMS levels. Now, they have a maximum deflection time of around 0.33 seconds, which means they are, in fact, too slow to detect peaks, right, such as the very fast transients of a kick or snare drum or other similar sound sources. Now for this type of sound sources, you need a program peak meter, PPM, or just peak meter for short. This is going to be more suitable, and this is what's found in the digital meters in your audio interface and your DAW. I explained the difference between calibrating analog and digital signals and the importance of understanding how to gain stage correctly in a previous video. So I recommend watching that video first to understand things better. Now anyway, the main point here is to know that 0 dB in analog equipment is equivalent to around -18 to -20 dBFS, right? Depending on which calibration standard that you use. Now the second thing to understand is that this calibration levels, are done with a 1 kilohertz sine wave tone, okay? It's a sine wave. Now vocals, music, we don't work with pure sound waves like sine waves, right? So we work with complex sound waves, and this means that some loud peaks, for example, maybe drums or percussion, may not even hit 0 on the VU meter. It's already registering and already peaking on digital meters. Now with 24-bit audio having a dynamic range of 144 dB, working in digital nowadays is quite forgiving, right? So recording too low isn't too big of a deal. Same goes with recording too high as well. As long as you're not clipping, you're perfectly fine. Now my recommendation, of course, bear in mind again, know how to gain stage correctly, is to aim for average levels of around -18 dBFS. So as long as your digital meters, are dancing around that value, with your loudest peaks, occasionally jumping a little higher, you'll be fine. Now that you understand, right, the relationship between VU meters and the digital peak meters, this allows you to explore, right, the possibilities of working with analog gear. Now, some of the analog vibe that we commonly associate, right, with vintage gear is due to the circuitry, right, running close to the edge, right up to the point of distortion, right? You hear tube saturation, you hear transformer saturation. Take for example, right, some mic pre's like the vintage Neve 1073, they sound great when driven fairly hard, and many engineers do that by turning up the input gain while attenuating the output level. How they do it is when you reach the point where you can hear audible distortion, they will turn down the input gain down a notch. Now on my Taking Mic Pre EQ, which is in essence it's a channel of a Trident console, you can also do the same thing, right? Likewise on the 1176, right, the input and output knobs not only affect the amount of compression, right, but you can also use that to drive the 1176 compressor hard, right, to impart a little bit of that transformer saturation. That's one of the parts why we love the sound of 1176. You experiment with different combinations to find out what sounds best. I personally like my mic pre's to be clean and transparent, so I usually leave my output level fully open, hence my input gain is kept fairly low. I've tried it the other way around, to do the same thing that you would do on the 1073. I didn't really like the sound. I kind of preferred it this way. Plus, that's what the manual recommended. But again, right, if you have analog gear, if you got your own mic pre's that you want to try out, experiment and see what you like. When it comes to dialing in sounds on analog gear, yes, I know it's a cliche, but yeah, you do have to use your ears and ignore what the meters are telling you. However, if you are recording the digital, which I think 99% of you who are watching probably are, you must pay attention, right, to the meters in order to ensure proper gain staging. So there you go. Hopefully you found my answer useful. What do you think? What do you like to do when it comes to working with analog gear? By the way, right, this question is a actual real question from a real person on the internet. So if you have your questions or if you have any feedback that you want to leave down below, please do so right in the comment section. I really love to hear from you. I love to interact. I love to communicate with you as well. If you found this useful and informative, please do leave a like, right? Don't forget to share. If you're not yet a subscriber, please do click on the subscribe button. Consider becoming a patron. See you again in another video real soon, right? Do check out the rest of the content that I have on my channel. Happy recording and mixing. Peace, love, and music.